Okay, this is just a quick vlog about my Costa Rica experience. So I went to Costa Rica for 10 days in December and it was actually pretty hot. Like it got to 32. I flew into the Liberia airport and then it was a $45, and all of the amounts that I quote are in American dollars. It was a $45 taxi from Liberia to the Cocoa Beach area, which was where I was staying. And which I don't know, I think was like honestly probably fine, but a little bit too much for the region. Apparently Costa Rica is one of the most expensive regions in the area. It's definitely not as expensive as Canada. Everything is relatively cheaper than Canada, but just for the area it is pretty expensive. So anyway, it was $45 to get to the Cocoa Beach area, and then the Airbnb was reasonably priced. It was about 100 meters from the beach, so I could walk there in like 45 seconds. What else? Honestly, the food was like just okay. I would say there's nothing super special about the food. Yeah, like you go to some places and like the fruits are so fresh and like they're great. They were fine. Honestly, they were fine. Like no better than any other kind of country in the area. And I say the food was just average based on like the other places that I've been in the world. Like I've had Japanese food, I've had food in Benin. Those were top tier places to have food. So I would say Costa Rica is probably like a 5.56 out of 10. Like nothing wrong with it, nothing bad. Honestly, I've had really bad food like in places like Idaho and Saskatchewan. So like those are 1 out of 10. So it did pretty well for food. The other thing is the Cocoa Beach area is like really nice if you're going to relax. There are lots of bars and restaurants around that you can walk to. But it's like there's not a lot going on. If you're looking to like party, you can go to like Tamarindo or those kind of places, which are fine for partying. I would also say that like the drinks were just okay. Honestly, I was mostly there to relax. If I was going to go back to Costa Rica, I wouldn't go back to the Pacific side. I'd probably go to the Caribbean side. And the other thing about Costa Rica is that there's almost nothing that you can do in Costa Rica that you can't do in Nicaragua for a lot less of a price. The only thing about Nicaragua right now is that you need a PCR test to get in. The reason that I picked Costa Rica was because you don't need a PCR test to get in and there's no quarantine period. Not that I'm against tests or anything like that. I just was on vacation and I just didn't need the extra stress in my life. What else about Costa Rica? Yeah, everything's like priced in US dollars. I think that's also why it's like pretty expensive. And I mean, it was, oh, the one thing that's really amazing about Costa Rica is the coffee. Obviously, the coffee's so good. There's this coffee shop that I went to called Big Fingers Coffee Roaster. Literally the best coffee ever. And I've had some pretty good coffee in places like, I mean, obviously not origin coffee, but like the roasting of the coffee, like in San Francisco and in Kyoto in Japan. Those were like the best places I've ever had coffee. But obviously, if you love coffee, Costa Rica is definitely going to be the place for you. Okay, and then I went on a catamaran tour. I think that was like $150 or something. And it included free food and free drinks. Lots of drinks. And like snorkeling. I didn't see anything snorkeling. I mean, I've been snorkeling in a lot of places in like the Caribbean and that was nice. I didn't really see too much in Costa Rica, but like it was still a really good experience. Oh, and there's lots of wildlife, which is nice. Like there are lots of like monkeys and like little things that look like anteaters. Like it's a pretty nice experience if you're really into wildlife and nature. But again, all the wildlife that you see in Costa Rica, you can see in Nicaragua. And then there's like this other tour, it was like a volcano hot springs tour, and I think that was like $160. So like there are lots of things that you can do. You can also relax in Costa Rica, and I would say that overall like it was a pretty, for what I wanted to do, which was just to like basically sit around and do nothing and like take a couple of tours, it was good. But I wouldn't say that it's like high on my list to go back to, and I think that there are other places that you could probably pick that are better. Like honestly, I think Mexico is a lot more fun than Costa Rica. And I also think that the people in Costa Rica are nice, but the people in Mexico are like super nice. I think it's the difference between like people in honestly, people in Ontario are nice, but people in Saskatchewan are super nice. And like people in Nelson are like, they will like wave to you on the street. So like there's different levels of like friendliness and kindness. The other thing that I found about Costa Rica, where I didn't notice in Mexico, is like, depending on how you dress, people are nicer to you. So like sometimes I would go out in just like shorts and like whatever, a t-shirt, and like people wouldn't be nice and like they wouldn't say hi and stuff. But then when I like dressed up and I wore like a nice skirt, or like if I looked like a little bit more expensive, people would be nicer to me, and I don't really like that. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I'm totally fine with people treating you however they want as long as they respect you, but I just don't think that you should be treated better because you look like you have more money. Anyway, that's it for me. I would love to know how you found Costa Rica, or if you want to go, or if it's on your list. And that's it. Bye guys.